Rodgers has not budged. But the fact of the matter is there are other members of the organization that don't know if and when Aaron Rodgers will show back up in Green Bay. And I don't think he's particularly happy right now being in Green Bay. And I think this dates back, ironically enough, to the draft last year.
This past Sunday, we got a fairly intriguing headline that I had mixed feelings about. And honestly, I still have mixed feelings about. It's the reason why we're making a video, because I felt like this is something worth discussing. At face value, you would think that Jordan Love would feel this way, but at the same time, I'm here to explain to you why it doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. So before we get to the content, make sure you're followed on Instagram and Twitter so you can enter for those holiday giveaways that we're conducting on both of those social media platforms. I can't conduct it here because there's some bot scamming my followers with fake giveaways that a lot of my subscribers unfortunately fell for. And of course, make sure you support the grind by subscribing, turning on our notifications, and checking out our channel memberships program. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! This video is sponsored by PrizePicks. You guys know PrizePicks has been my latest obsession because I live in California. There's no way that you could gamble on games in California, so the best way you could get action on games is through PrizePicks. And ever since I partnered with them, we've been having a lot of fun. And before we get to the latest promo, I want to give a huge shout out to my man, Nasri Hasbun, who tweeted me a six-legged pick that he hit on as a result of our last promo, which means he 25x'd his money. And that's freaking awesome. Hopefully more of my subs hit this big as a result of today's promo. As a matter of fact, it's not only today's promo, because from this day and on until Christmas Day, PrizePicks is releasing a brand new promo every day, and it's called Picksmas. All you have to do is download PrizePicks, use my promo code Mikerophone to get up to a $100 deposit match, and then just log into PrizePicks each and every day to see what they're offering for that day. Since they're offering a brand new promo each and every day, I'm probably going to be posting my picks onto my Instagram story. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I literally play PrizePicks each and every day. So huge shout out to PrizePicks for the sponsor. Make sure you sign up with my promo code Mikerophone or the link in the description down below. And thank you, PrizePicks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? The Green Bay Packers have been a very fun storyline to follow over the past 2 years. I'll admit it point blank. As a matter of fact, I think it's the Green Bay Packers Aaron Rodgers news that really launched this channel to the heights that it has gotten to, and honestly taught me a lot of lessons about reporting this stuff as well. From the very beginning, I mean, one of the biggest lessons is what Adam Schefter did during the 2021 NFL draft, where he came point blank onto NFL Live and straight up said this.
Aaron Rodgers has told certain members of the organization that he does not want to return to the Green Bay Packers. And this is an issue that has gone on throughout the course of the offseason, so much so that each of the Packers' main individual decision makers taking trips out west to go meet with Aaron Rodgers, to fly out and meet with him to see if they could change his mind and convince him to come back to Green Bay, which he does not want to do. And I don't think he's particularly happy right now being in Green Bay. And I think this dates back, ironically enough, to the draft last year.
And man, from that point on, what a circus it has been to cover the Green Bay Packers. I mean, you had Aaron Rodgers threatening to retire unless the general manager of the Packers decided to step down. Why did Aaron Rodgers want Brian Gutekunst to step down? Well, he was upset that Brian Gutekunst decided to part ways with Randall Cobb, Julius Peppers, Charles Woodson, Jake Kumaro, and oh yeah, the fact that he also decided to spend a first-round pick in the 2020 NFL draft on his successor. Sounds familiar. Well, back then, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't necessarily understand the logic there. Now I do, and we're gonna get to the rationale there in just a sec, because there's a lot we need to unpack here. A whole nother season goes by, Aaron Rodgers wins yet another MVP, his second MVP in a row, and the Green Bay Packers are in a phenomenal situation. They already drafted their next quarterback, their successor, literally replicating what they did with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers a mere 16 years ago to a T. The only exception is Aaron Rodgers was in the conversation to be the #1 overall pick in the 2006 NFL draft, and he just began taking a tumble. Jordan Love was perceived as a project type QB that needed to sit down and needed some seasoning before he finally took full-time snaps. I would say this is the biggest difference. There's always a question of why didn't the Green Bay Packers just wait until the second round to draft Jordan Love? And this is really important. We're going to get to some really interesting details about Jordan Love's contract, and we're going to even compare him to Jalen Hurts so we could explain to you the major difference between a first-round pick in the NFL draft and a second-round pick in the NFL draft. Because the Eagles are going to have a very difficult situation on their hands this offseason as a result of the great season that Jalen Hurts is having so far. So as time progressed, Aaron Rodgers was linked to the Denver Broncos on multiple occasions. If you recall, the Denver Broncos had a great opportunity to draft Justin Fields, and honestly, in hindsight, they probably should have. Patrick Surtain is a fantastic product, but when you look at the direction they opted to take with their quarterback since, man, probably should have drafted Justin Fields, but they elected to take Patrick Surtain because they were very confident in their abilities to potentially trade for Aaron Rodgers. That didn't necessarily happen. 1 year later and 1 MVP later, the Denver Broncos made a bigger push. This time, they hired a man that Aaron Rodgers absolutely loved, Nathaniel Hackett, a man that clearly has no idea how to coach in the NFL, who was clearly there just so Aaron Rodgers would be enticed to go to Denver. On top of that, Denver had a significant chunk of cap space, which is now being consumed by Russell Wilson's contract. But on top of that, we mentioned this in previous videos. The Broncos were ready to offer the 9th pick in the 2022 NFL draft and their second round pick and next year's first for Aaron Rodgers. The Packers had this remarkable opportunity to move on from both Davante Adams and Aaron Rodgers after they fully reached their ceiling. They were in salary cap hell. This was their opportunity to move on to their quarterback with a rookie scale contract with a boatload of first round picks and see what Jordan Love is made out of. After all, at this point, Jordan Love has been riding the bench for 2 full seasons. The average project QB rides the bench for 1. So I would assume now that Aaron Rodgers won back-to-back MVPs, the Green Bay Packers would trade him for a plethora of draft capital, let that team enjoy Aaron Rodgers' final years, who knows how long they're going to be, and let the Las Vegas Raiders enjoy Davante Adams and open up the Jordan Love era with a bunch of really good first round picks that won't cost a significant amount of money and hopefully start a new era in Green Bay. That's not what they decided to do. And if you guys want more examples of this, I mean, we've talked about this in our Aaron Rodgers video and our Green Bay Packers video recently on how they both made horrific mistakes, how Aaron Rodgers posted this like beautiful farewell. He was super cryptic during this past offseason, really toying with the media, and to be honest, it was a lot of fun covering it. And now it seems like the Packers are in a significantly different situation. Aaron Rodgers has had an up and down season this year with Davante Adams no longer being on the team. He finally established some chemistry with Christian Watson. Now, the unfortunate part here is the fact that he began dealing with his own injuries. And when you consider how he's 39 years old and the Green Bay Packers are third in the very competitive NFC North, which by the way, the future of this division is beautiful, I might add. I mean, with the Vikings, the lines are surging. Of course, you have the Packers who always seem to be successful. And Justin Fields, although he's lost 6 games in a row, there's a bright future for that kid. But I digress. Now you need to ask the question whether or not the Green Bay Packers are going to continue forward with Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers. It seems like they're going to try their best to continue this season with Aaron Rodgers, but once they're out of the hunt, then you could expect Jordan Love to take snaps from this point on. Now, the purpose of this video isn't for me to once again remind you that the Green Bay Packers made a horrific mistake, because I could understand once you have a future Hall of Famer at QB winning back-to-back MVPs and you're watching what number 12 is doing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the age of 44, and I can understand why you would start to draw parallels. And it also makes a lot more sense why the Green Bay Packers spent a first-round pick on Jordan Love. So this brings us to the most recent news that I wanted to discuss with you guys today. On Sunday, we got a report from
an anonymous Packers insider.
Jordan Love will request a trade in 2023, a Packers insider believes. I don't know if this is going to be the offseason or the regular season, but here's what the article says. Jordan Love has patiently waited his turn to be the Green Bay Packers starting quarterback. But as the team leans toward Aaron Rodgers being their chosen signal caller, it may be time that Love forces Green Bay's hand. One Green Bay inside reporter believes that Love will demand a trade from the Packers if he's not the starting QB next season. I had a really great conversation with Jordan on Friday afternoon. I think he's very clearly, even though he wouldn't flat out say it, he does not want to sit for another year. If we get to year 4 and Rodgers does come back, I am fairly confident that he will seek a trade. Though Peter Bukowski further emphasizes this, and at first I was just presented with this information as an
anonymous Packer source.
but it looks like this Packer source isn't super anonymous. It's Jason Wild. So we could attribute this news to him, but Peter Bukowski says that at Jason Wild says he believes Jordan Love will seek a trade this offseason if he's not the starter based on a conversation they had Friday. We could be barreling toward a it's him or me situation for the Green Bay Packers. Remember, Rodgers didn't love sitting behind Brett Favre either. So Wild has left the conversation confident that Love will request a trade. The article brings up some pretty good points. A shout out to the Yahoo article that I'm citing here by Marsha Green, saying it's not the first time that a Packers season has been riddled with quarterback drama, and Love has been there to see it all. The 24-year-old backup QB has been seen on the Packers bench since he was drafted in the first round of the 2020 NFL Draft, and it's rare to see a first-round quarterback sitting for over 3 seasons. He may be ready to move on if he doesn't get the starting nod sooner than later, but seeing how much money Aaron Rodgers could make if he keeps playing in the NFL, it's hard to see him decide to step away from the Packers. It's so funny because I remember in the offseason last year, we were getting so many reports about how Aaron Rodgers is clearly just in this for the money, and then you had his teammates saying, no, this is a lie, he's not in this for the money. Nothing wrong with this, by the way. Clearly he's in this for the money. If he was in this for his legacy and to win additional Super Bowls, I think he would have went to the Denver Broncos, where he would have had one of the best defenses in the NFL, which I think we neglect to mention fairly consistently because how much of a dumpster fire their offense has been, but their defense is still pretty damn good. And I'm fairly confident he would have been able to make it work with KJ Hamler, Cortland Sutton, and Jerry Jeudy. But what do I think about this report? To be honest, I think there's a part of it that's true, and I think there's a part of it that's BS. The part of it that's true is that Jordan Love had a conversation with this man, and he doesn't want to sit on the bench next year. Part of it that's BS is the fact that he would demand a trade over this. Here's the thing. There's a reason why Jordan Love was drafted in the first round. There's a reason why the Green Bay Packers traded up into the first round to select Jordan Love as opposed to selecting him in the second round. You see, let's compare Jordan Love to a quarterback that was selected after him in the same NFL draft, Jalen Hurts. Jordan Love was selected with the 26th pick in the 2020 NFL draft. Jalen Hurts was selected with the 53rd pick in the 2020 NFL draft. The difference between those two is a first round pick has a potential 5th-year option on their rookie contract. Jalen Hurts doesn't have such a thing. After the 2023 season, Jalen Hurts immediately becomes an unrestricted free agent, which is why the Philadelphia Eagles went all in on building around him this year. Jordan Love, on the other hand, could potentially play on his rookie contract until the end of the 2024 season, and he could hit free agency in 2025, especially if the Packers exercise his 5th-year option, which if you're playing this waiting game with Aaron Rodgers for a couple more years, I fully expect them to do this. The crazy part is Jordan Love makes significantly more money for sitting on the bench than Jalen Hurts does for being MVP candidate this year. Now, would it be a good business decision for Jordan Love to begin stamping his feet way before his contract could potentially expire, request to be traded to a brand new team with a brand new atmosphere after sitting on the bench watching Aaron Rodgers all these years, learning Matt LaFleur's system, getting familiar with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs and the entire Green Bay Packers offense? Would it make a lot of sense to demand a trade from that team as opposed to waiting for your rookie contract to expire? I mean, in this case, wouldn't it make more sense for Jordan Love to play for the first time in 2023, or hell, even in 2024, even if he doesn't start for the Packers in 2024, wouldn't it make more sense for Jordan Love to bet on himself when he finally gets a full year as a starter and absolutely crush it as a starting QB for the Green Bay Packers in a system that he's probably nauseatingly familiar with, and then get big money as a result of the Green Bay Packers deciding to wait this long to finally start him as opposed to demanding a trade to a new team so he could start sooner? I mean, demanding a trade at this point is like Baker Mayfield demanding a trade from the Browns to the Panthers levels of incompetent, which is why I don't really trust this report. I do think in an ideal world, Jordan Love is ready to start, and I do believe the part where he doesn't want to ride the bench for a 4th year in a row. At the same time, he is in a situation where he's a first-round QB that gets to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 3, maybe 4 years, then start for the Green Bay Packers at QB. And then immediately after one season starting for the Packers, he could potentially sign a huge contract, especially if he crushes it for the Packers in his first full season as a starter. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers had to franchise tag him shortly after this. So this is just further evidence that the Green Bay Packers continue to screw themselves based upon the decisions they're making here, but I don't necessarily blame them because they're not easy decisions to make. If Jordan Love doesn't start for the 2023 season, then he would be playing on a 5th-year option in 2024, and then once that season's done, but by rookie contract, you have to sign this guy to a legitimate contract. And if that happens, that in of itself is going to be a huge controversy. If you thought Kyler Murray's criticism was unwarranted as a result of the money he got, then this is going to be a whole new level of wild. Now, don't get me wrong, a part of me is speculating here because there's a lot of ways this could go. Aaron Rodgers could retire at the end of this season, Jordan Love could start next season, and then he'd have 2 years as a starter before his rookie contract expires. Or maybe the Packers decide to trade Jordan Love, which I don't really think they would opt to do that. I think there's a very low chance of that happening. I think this is a situation where even if Jordan Love demands a trade, Packers aren't going to grant it. And I don't think Jordan Love is going to resent the Packers by the time he is able to start for them, even once he's demanded a trade. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about all this, man. I saw this report. I felt like it was a very lazy way to generate some sort of drama in Green Bay. And although I think it's a cute little report, I don't necessarily buy it. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping her mic until our next upload.